What's up guys, Alex here, and I'm back with another video, and if you're wondering why I have the hood popped on my truck, I'll explain. So, I noticed a problem with my truck a couple weeks ago, or about a week ago. I was sitting down at, there's like a dead-end road, I'll show it to you guys. There's a road around here that just dead ends to the bay. I'm literally 5 minutes from the water. So I was sitting down there, idling my truck. It was probably about an hour and a half-ish, 2 hours I was idling, talking to a friend. And I look at my temperature gauge, and my truck started overheating. So, I'm going to rectify that issue eventually, probably here within the next month or so. I can idle for about an hour and a half before it even starts overheating. So it's not really a big issue right now. But I'll show you guys what I'm gonna do. So what I'm gonna do, I just replaced my water pump and fan clutch, which, if you're not sure what the fan clutch is, so that metal piece right there, that's the fan clutch. If the camera focuses. That metal piece right there is the fan clutch. What it does is it will, when it's locked in, it will force the fan to spin at the same speed that the crankshaft is rotating at. So what I'm gonna do is, my radiator is right down there. Right down there. But I'm going to replace my radiator. Mainly because it's old. And I'm pretty sure it's the factory radiator. Like 90% sure. Because I replaced the fan clutch, I replaced the water pump, I replaced the thermostat, and the only thing left to replace on the water system is the radiator. So this hose probably needs to be replaced too. Well, maybe not. Nah, that's good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the fan shroud off. And the radiator I'm going with was actually one that my dad gave me. My dad has a radiator lying around that he was going to use for his off-road truck, but he's not going to because it's electronic and stuff. So it has electric fans. It is a Be Cool. The company is called Be Cool radiator. It's a super, according to my dad, it's a super awesome radiator, is how he put it, that can handle like 1800 horsepower, according to him. And I'm not pushing anywhere near that. I would have to supercharge this thing and do a whole bunch of other stuff, but it can handle about 1800 horsepower. He had it in an 86 Chevy at one point, and it fit perfectly. He was originally going to put it on his 350 small block that he's putting in a 1972 K10, which is the four-wheel drive version. You had the C10 and the K10 back then, for those of you that don't know. And then you had the C20 and C30, which were the 3/4 and 1 ton versions. And then the K is four-wheel drive, the C is two-wheel drive. So I'm going to be putting that radiator in my truck, and we just need to make sure that we have all of the relays for it. And I'm going to get this to work because it's not going to be wired to a switch. That's my oil catch pan, which I need to take off and drain. So I'm just going to hook one of the relays. One needs to go to my AC so that my AC fan will still work, because it's actually got two fans, one for the AC and one for the motor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook the AC fan into the AC unit. When I turn the AC on, it'll kick that fan on. And then I'm going to hook the other fan. You can't really see it because there's a bunch of stuff in the way, but I'm going to hook the other fan to the engine temperature sensor. That way, whenever it reaches a certain temperature, thermostat opens up, the relay will trip the fan and the fan will turn on. That way I don't have to wire it to a switch and, you know, have to flip the switch whenever the engine, because if that's the case, then I'll just leave it on all the time. I don't want to do that. But that's the plan, is to replace the radiator. And if that doesn't work, which I'm fairly certain it will work, and I will show you guys, I will try to show you guys a before and after video. Like, I'll put the radiators next to each other before we put them in. I'll try, but just for kind of a comparison. And intake's in the way. There's the stock radiator, or at least the side of it. Can I get like a better view of it? I'm not sure if I can. There you go. So that's the stock radiator. And I'm not sure, so the truck has about, roughly, on the odometer, 200,000 miles. Roughly, on the odometer. However, the gauge, the speedometer, is off by about 5 miles because the tire size, since it's actually the stock tire size. I believe that's what's going on. So, yeah, but so the fan shroud will be gone, and the best part about this radiator is that I can get rid of the fan clutch. I won't have a fan clutch anymore, which means it'll be easier to change the water pump. Because when I tried to change the water pump on this truck, it was, for me, it was a pain in the butt to get the, to break, because there's a nut on the end of the fan clutch that holds it to the water pump, and breaking that loose was kind of a pain. So I had to take my dad finally had to get a adjustable wrench. What do they call it? Crescent wrench. He had to get a crescent wrench and put it on the nut that holds the fan on and hit it with a hammer to break it, because every time that I would try to loosen it, the fan would spin, and I couldn't find a hammer at the time, so I just waited for my dad to get home. But I already had, like, and my worst mistake was, so I disconnected this hose from the water pump after I took the air intake off. I disconnected this hose, and I spilt fluid everywhere. Like, it was all on the ground and stuff, and I spilt it everywhere. It literally exploded out of the water pump once I removed this hose. But then again, it runs through this hose underneath and goes through all the cooling lines. So yeah, but the Be Cool radiator is, according to my dad, is quite a bit thicker than the one that this one is, and the pipe on it, because it's a single core, but it's so much larger in diameter that the cooling capacity is a lot more, according to my dad. So, and even if it's not, it'll work either way. But yep, so I'm going to replace the radiator, and sorry this video was so long, and I appreciate all you guys who have subscribed, so thank you very much. I will try to make more content for you. I got some plans to do some off-roading with this truck. Yes, it's a two-wheel drive truck. Is it a good idea to take it off-road? Probably not. Am I going to get stuck? Most likely. Is it going to be fun? Absolutely. But, yep, so plan on taking it off-road after I replace the radiator. I already replaced the brakes, so I'm good on that. And, yeah, I just need to bleed my brake system. There's my master cylinder. I just need to bleed my brake system because I think there's some air in the line somewhere. The pedal is great, but it does go down a little bit further than I'd like. So I'm going to bleed the system and see where that gets me. Hopefully it gives me a firmer pedal. And for those of you that are wondering, yes, this truck does have anti-lock. It's a 2002. I think by that point it was mandatory to have anti-lock. I think. Where is the ABS module? That's the thing on these older, well, not really older, but on these GM trucks, ABS module is kind of difficult to find, kind of difficult to locate. I don't know where it's at, but whatever. All right, later.